Alright guys, it's a little bit of a different video tonight. I'm coming from a more defensive perspective lately, not because of myself, but it's a crap that's being fed into our kids. I apologise for the street light over there, by the way. There's not a lot I can do about that. The whole focus on this is, even from the male side, the degree of separations are apparent. Talking about alpha males, sigma males, beta males, everything else. They're degrees of separation. The point being in this is, do not let people divide. This is all about division. You know, you talk about passport bros. It's about guys going to other parts of the world and, you know, having relationships because they realize they're wasting their time in the West. Now, I get every aspect of every single one of these. If you ask where I am, you know, as somebody mentioned earlier, I'm probably sitting in the Sigma male category simply because of the way I work, the way I think, but it doesn't mean I belittle beta males or anything else. I don't see people as other degrees because that's part of the problem. We're not here to separate people out. The fact is, we need to be above all this crap. We need to be the guys going, you know what, if you want to go abroad, live there, marry somebody there is nothing wrong with it. If you want to live in the West and be a beta male dominated by a woman who destroys your life and everything else, that is your choice. But at the same time, like me sitting here in Spain and having a beautiful house, a beautiful wife, and traveling multiple countries, that's because I understand where I sit in society. A beta guy will never take those risks. I've tried to help some of the guys out there to take the leap because you're thinking you bring them into a environment that can change them mentally. But if they won't take that leap, you're wasting your time. Doesn't mean they're wrong. It means that their wiring is very different to yours. There is nothing wrong with that. Where we have a problem today is, it's a bit like when people are whining about people going abroad to get married and find a new partner and everything else and saying it's wrong. It's not wrong. If you ask me about Western women, I would say they're not worth the time. They're not worth the effort. I was watching a show today that was with Piers Morgan, and had a guy on there that been a dating guy for Russian women for, you know, he was doing they give him weird titles, but let's just say he had a dating site for 23 years. He's happily married, he's been out to Russia, he speaks Russian and everything else. And you got all these women, you know, 3 women, Piers Morgan, trying to go, ruh, 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 ruh. He's in the wrong. He wasn't baited into the argument because he stepped outside the box. You step outside the box and you go, look. And they go, well, what about these 3 women? What about these 3 women? And he's going, well, he's not interested. He's not interested. That's the reality. I was talking to my wife about this earlier. Is I have no English issues with women in the UK or whatever, but if there were, you know, people talking about, oh, you know, do you find them attractive for that? They're non-existent. And this is the bit that I think a lot of people don't understand. The non-existence piece is they could go out the way to try and attract you, but you just see them as a blank sheet. They're just there. They have no importance to you whatsoever. And that's what bothers them, is you're not devaluing them to themselves. They're devaluing themselves to themselves. Because you're just saying, look, I'm just not interested. I'm moving on. So that's when they go, oh, you're bald-headed, you're fat, you're this, and whatever. It's like, what's your problem? For me, yeah, I've got no hair. I know that. I can look in the mirror in the morning. I'm overweight, yeah. And what's it got to do with you? I'm not going in and going, okay, you got a mole on the face that's disgusting. Your belly is bigger than the overhang from your upper parts. Because I'm not interested. I just want you to go away. I just want to, if it's a business relationship, it's literally business. What are you doing? What's going on? I'm not interested about you. I'm not interested about your children. I'm not interested about anything about you beyond what you're providing in a business sense. Now, what's got under my skin today, to be fair, is for my son, and I seem to be becoming a bit of a role model for other kids that are associated with my son. They seem to follow some of the stuff I do, because they're lacking role models. Now, for me, when I was a kid, Daley Thompson was a role model. You used to watch things like let's just say the old professionals, Bodie and Doyle, and all that sort of stuff. You had role models. Now they're going, are you in touch with your feelings? Are you in touch with your feelings? No, because I'm a man. Men aren't supposed to be in touch with their feelings. All that piece of society is developed around feminism leaking into, let's call it manosphere, and I don't like saying manosphere, but they've been leaking across as if it's normal. Now, we're at 7 minutes in, and I'm going to tell you my version of things. Your problems in the world are your problems, no one else's. And I'm going to talk to you like maybe your father should, or if you haven't got a father, he still should have. These people are full of it, right? You're a guy, right? When I fall down, I get myself up. My wife has told me off because, previously when I'm knocked down, I get back up. And I'm not asking for that support from my wife or anything else, because I'm a man. A man is supposed to provide food on the table, roof over your head, supporting the kids, making sure everything's taken care of the family, allowing your partner to make sure that they have everything to make sure your kids are getting the best opportunities and you have a happy household. Call me old-fashioned or call me a realist. It is not important for me to be in touch with my feelings. Your driving force should not be that you feel sorry for yourself. You're a man. Get the hell back up. Whatever breaks you, learn from it. You're betrayed, learn from it. You have, lost everything to a previous marriage or whatever thing, learn from it. It's your fault. You don't want to accept it, that's fine. But in the modern society, let's face it, and people like myself saying, married to a Western woman, more fool you. She told me she loves me and everything else. I've heard it all before. I've sat in the Philippines where people have gone to Asia and had the same experience. Because you've learned nothing. Because you're not a male. You're not being somebody that brings something to the table. As a male, you shouldn't be broken. You're the guy that shields the family. You're the guy that drives from the front. That's what brings people to your table. You shouldn't be, oh, can I help you? Can I, That's just weak. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. You're more than that. So if you come out of a bad relationship, end of. Today is the day you move on. Got a bad divorce, you took half of everything you own or more, end of. Cut her off, move on. If she thinks you're going to be on the life support for the rest of her life, head east, where they can't reach you, and start from scratch. Look at the options you have. If you move to Asia, for example, can they reach you there for child support and everything else? I'll say she's probably made the decision to exit, because that's what, 75% of the divorce rates. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So that's not your fault. You probably stayed longer than you should. You're with a partner that you shouldn't have been with, and you paid more than you should. Be a man about it. To hell with them. Your responsibility is to yourself. Rebuild yourself. Now, it gets back to the family unit at some point, if you're the way I am. Because I am a good provider. I am a supporter of my kids, my wife. My wife will tell you, she can do what she wants. She got access to my bank accounts and else. Like when I was living out in the Philippines, guys go, your wife's got access to your bank accounts and all that. It's like, why wouldn't she? Because as somebody that can build stuff from scratch, do I feel so weak that I can't trust my wife with money? Or do I feel that the fact that she's the guy holding the rear, she's looking after the family, she's making sure there is no knives in my back when I'm not looking? That's the reality of life. That the people that are standing behind you may be the guys that are the guys you rely on. So what do I recommend as a male? The first thing is, what people are telling you, dissect it, but don't accept it. Everything out there is so splintered now. I would say look after your health, look after your wealth, look after the people that look after you. Now, don't become an idiot. See, I've learned from experience. My family, in the sense of my siblings and everything else, used to be fairly important to me. But I was betrayed with them because they went after my parents' money after they died. Absolute parasites. Mainly my sister. But at the same time, like my youngest brother, he got in some trouble with some guys a long time ago, and I ended up in a fight in a town centre, fighting a 6-on-1 fight. I'd say we all come off in a bad way. I couldn't see for 2 weeks. I put somebody through a shop window. It was quite a difficult fight. But then again, it was a 6-on-1 ratio, but still stood my ground. I don't advise that stuff for most people, but at the same time, back then, I looked after my siblings. It's nice to feel that knife in the back from them later in life. But your health is a key thing. You'll see a lot of these guys online doing courses and all that. Don't buy into that. A lot of this stuff is about what you're doing. It's about your diet. It's about very obvious stuff most of the time. You need to get up in the morning, look in that mirror and go, what are you doing to yourself? You probably notice my weight goes up and down, quite regular. Mine is affected by the work I do. I work a lot of hours. I still manage to do, when I'm in the UK, an hour a day in the gym. I still walk where I can. I still try and do as much as possible. But the environment I'm in is quite toxic, quite difficult. it's not the perfect relationship, for the work-life balance. I accept that, and I know it, and I know where my issues lie, because if I step away from this, my weight goes down, my health goes up. Um, that's just part and parcel of it. But do I sit there crying that I'm not 80 kilos? No. I was 89 kilos when I was doing 3 hours a day in the gym and only eating chicken, like one chicken a day. Like I used to have chicken with no meat on it, no fat on it. And they go, well, that your health check, according to the obese matrix and everything else, says you're overweight. There's another whole conspiracy piece on that, if you will look it up, on how the American system altered what they decided was obese, etc. Now, I don't whinge about it because I'm overweight, but they got morbidly obese and all this sort of stuff. Mind your own business. Because at the end of the day, there's very little fat here, there's very little fat anywhere except for my stomach. My stomach is where I enjoy food, it's where I enjoy beer. So what? I accept that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, part and parcel of the stuff people are driving out there, this is why I guess in the Sigma, the Alphas, the Betas, is that health is everything. It's not. Health is part of it. Feeling healthy, being confident in your position and who you are, the confidence is part of this. The health, in the sense of having the same body as somebody from the film 300, I'd say is secondary or third or whatever, because maintaining that is a pain. What you need to be is comfortable in who you are. What's more important is where you sit in your life. Do you hate your job? Are you doing something that degrades you? Are you doing something you're not happy with? Are you a frustrated artist? If you want to do something about it. If you look through my older stuff, you'll find that I've took periods of time out for a year and stuff and just tried things to try and make it work. Some things go well, some things don't. But you know what? I got off my backside and tried it. I've no regrets. If it goes right, it goes well. If it goes wrong, I got to spend a lot of time with my family. Where did I lose? And the next thing is, I'll say, don't divide each other. Running each other down is where everything is at the moment. It's like the passport bros, there seems to be a focus on passport bros are wrong, and predominantly people from a certain demographic are whining about it. So what? They're not relevant. They're not relevant. They're whining about it, but let's face it, the guys that are heading out to Asia and whatever, they don't care. They wouldn't have been interested in most of these women in the first place. That's the reality of it. Spill on myself, I can sit in nearly every... there's not a situation I've come across in the last decade in the UK where I found a UK woman attractive in any form. I see through them. They're almost like glass. There's no interest there whatsoever, because they're null and void. Now, they may hate me for this. You should have this. That's a you problem, not a me problem. There is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, oh, you're British, you're not involved, you've no interest in British women. So what? What brought us to this? What brought us to this pinnacle moment where guys like myself have no interest in you? Why am I the problem? Look in the mirror. And reality is, it's going to be difficult to claw a lot of that back, because I do suspect we're at a point in society where many guys are going to exit. It's not worth the effort. Why would you engage with somebody that can take half your pension, half of everything you own, and at the same time their investments in themselves? They act masculine but want a dominant male because they're confused. This is the whole point. I've gone shopping with women before. Most women don't know what they want to buy. That's the relationships they've created in the West. I want to be masculine, but at the same time I want a beta alpha male. They don't exist. If you have a beta male, he may put your shoes on in the morning and everything ready for you to work, and then he'll hoover the floor. At the same time, you may despise him. Now, if a beta male is happy doing that, up to him. He made that decision. But one of the things I will say, I think we're going to go through a correction very soon. Not because I'm some philosophy expert or seen something in the future. The reality is, I can see through my son and his friends and whatever, they're already seeing past this. And I see that the Generation Z is gone anti-woke in many ways. It's not rebellion. I think they're resetting. I think it's a society reset going on. That's my personal opinion anyway, where they're seeing through the garbage. It's the same like when you see the media, where people talk about social media. My view is social media predominantly is garbage, whether you like it or not. I was talking to my wife earlier about this when I was a kid, because when you had the TV on, when you pretend to be sick and take the day off school, but a lot of the TV shows on during the day were actually the same shows they would show in the schools, because most of them didn't have video players. So you would get videos on welding or how to make metal or stuff, educational stuff all day long. What you've got today is opinionated nonsense. It's a focus on just trying to create arguments between people. And this is my point for me. If you're an alpha male, beta male, sigma male, doesn't matter. Do not compare each other to each other, because that's a division. The division and arguments are what is causing a lot of the static today. And it was quite interesting seeing a guy on a show earlier where all you're saying is that he's found Russian women more attractive, more in line with traditional values, etc. And then he's trying to be baited into arguments because he's sitting in with 3 women from the UK and Piers Morgan, and he's like, no, you do what you want. You do what you want. Doesn't matter, what do you think of the 3 women in here? What? Why does it matter? I'm not coming back. So it's like then try and get him into this whole argument piece. Well, the reality is, there is no argument. He's not interested. Why do you think your opinions matter to him? They don't. They should matter to you, understanding that society is dictating that the smart guys should walk away. And that's why they go MGTOW goes east and all this sort of stuff. It's like, let's try and flow that in there. We need to make a story out of it. It's like, no, let's not. Let's not buy into it. Let's not get baited into it. Let's think out the box a bit here. If you've got a good woman and a good relationship and it's strong, it doesn't matter if it's east or west. Stick with each other. If you're buying in from both sides, Good on you. If you've been knocked back through death, overweight, bad health, problems in other perspectives, get the hell back up. Get off your backside and stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're responsible for you. If you're failing, you're the failure. Stop blaming other people. There will always be that crap. I like I said, I took more knocks than a lot of people out there. I don't talk about half of them. But at the same time, I don't whinge about it, because at the end of the day, I'll look at it from this perspective. I've had to help people financially more than once, and I'm not even going to count how much money or people. But you know what? I was sat watching a video today relating to a guy that is helping. There's a kid. He's 13 years old. He's not the sharpest tool in the box. He's selling chocolate bars for his education, chocolate bars. Trying to support his group, because his group are helping fund him and everything. And the guy turned around and he's saying, I'm trying to sell chocolate bars. I've got this way. And, the guy doing the video is going, oh, well, how many chocolate bars have you got? And his mother comes up and they're on about their car, because they got robbed of their car and all these other problems. And when they're on about it, my first thought is, when his mother come over and because they've lost a hell of a lot. They haven't got any money. And I look at it and I go, I'd buy them the car. That was the first thought in my head. I'll buy them a car. I'll give them a car. Now, I'm not I know it's not achievable for everybody, but the point being is, my first response is to pick people up. All we've got around us is pushing people down. We need to be better than that. I do it quite a lot. Where I'm in Northampton, I've given a lot of money to the homeless people and stuff. I've gone out and give them cash. I'm not going to say how much it is, but I've sorted out accommodation and stuff for people. Does it make me feel better about myself? The answer is no. I don't do it for that. I do it because when somebody's knocked down, you pick them up. That's it. It's not about me going, hey, look at me, I'm putting it on whatever media. It's about the fact you needed help, there's your help. It's not about me. It's about you. I'm showing you there's still people out there that care. There's still people that have some love for others. There's still people out there that say, get up, I'll help you where I can. That's what matters. And all I can say to you guys out there, that's where you need to be. You'll find, if you can do that, your frame of mind is released, in the sense of, if you worry about this or got problems with that, A, there's always somebody got a worse life than you. But B, you make that little change and it helps somebody else. What the hell is bad about you? You made a difference where you may not even realize it, but you may have changed somebody's entire direction of their life. How important do you think that is? You've given them something that no one else was giving them. That's an important lesson. Do not take the knocks and assume that you're pushed down. Get the hell back up. But when you get up, you may be down here. That bit of compassion, the bit of love for others, you're better than the guy up here. You may be snorting coke and everything else and thinking life's great and my Lamborghini and everything else. But his value of everything around him, is zero. You getting off and from the ground and helping others and just going, you know what? I'll buy you breakfast. I'll do this. I'll do that. You're adding value where you don't even see it. Because, one of the things I do, I buy sandwiches. If you want to do this, you can do this as well. If I'm going to the supermarket to buy stuff and I see a homeless guy outside, I will not give them, sometimes I do give them money for accommodation, but I'll often buy them sandwiches and stuff. It's like, it's weird when people actually know you and they're going, hey, it's cold today, can I have a hot coffee or something else? Because they know you're going to come back out with something from the supermarket for them. But you know what? It's a bit like people go, oh, they're a drug addict, they're an alcoholic, they're this. And I'll go, right, what do you do when you get your wages? What do you do? Well, I'll go out and get drunk on a Friday night. And I says, right. Their life has more complexities going on in there. But you're doing similar. What does it matter? The main thing for me is, I'm not a fan of drug abuse and stuff, but give them some food, give them some hope. You're adding something to their lives. Because most other people have given up on them. Not everything in life is about what is in front of you. The new Mercedes, the bigger house, the bigger car, the showing off to your friends, the latest gadgets, those things for me are like this small. The biggest things for me is like when I look at my family, like I said, let's call them Western family. They've all abused to the max, and they're over here. They're burned off. But my family with my wife, siblings, my mother-in-law, and everything else, I'll move heaven and earth for them. It doesn't matter what it costs. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if people fail for me, because the whole point is, I'm there to pick people up. Now, if we all had somebody there to do this, how much would life be easier? Now, you're probably thinking, well, nobody's doing it for me, nobody's doing it for me. But the whole point of that is, now you're into the mentality that goes back to the social media about splitting everybody else and blaming everybody else. Pick each other up. It's important. Every life out there is worth something. I've had this conversation so many times over the years when people go, they're crap at this or crap at that. And I says, yeah, everybody's rubbish at something. Everyone's good at something. And I'm not a socialist, by the way. I'm a capitalist, 100%. But at the same time, I recognise everyone has something they're good at. They may be in the wrong job, but they're still good at something. But it's important we look after each other. It's important if we want to move forward, we work as a group, a collective. We look at how we can benefit everybody out there. It's paying it forward. Like the business ideas, I'm still working on them. I'll tell you now, the amount of stuff that's going through my head and the stuff I'm working on at the moment is a lot higher than appears on this screen, because at the moment there are what happens. I'll give you a little John on the way my mind works. So I can absorb, say, 50 ideas. Then I start dissecting them. And then I start looking at them in different directions. So, for example, let's just say t-shirt designs. I go t-shirt design. What t-shirt designs? How do we market it? We can do Democrats, Republicans. What's the market for those? Do we need a website? What sort of graphics? Are we going comical? Are we doing? And I'm doing this with about 50 ideas at the moment. That's the way my mind works. And like Jay will know, and some other people I know quite well, they'll suddenly see I just jump in a direction and I'm off on that. That's like what we did with crypto. And like with the crypto, I walked away with 110,000 euros from $400. Crypto is still there. The crypto market is still primed now to make me some money. But at the same time, I'm on a breakout. Breakout's much bigger than this. It's retirement money. But that's my mindset on that stuff. But at the same time, I'm sort of trying to balance everything else that's going on around me. I'm looking at the woke stuff and how toxic that is. The way the education system has been saturated and manipulated by Marxism. And that's been going on, late 50s, early 60s, especially in the UK. And that's where all this is coming in. This is where the divisions come in. This is part of everything we're dealing with now. This is why you've got guys going, I'm an alpha, I'm a beta, I'm this. It's all tied together. Because that stuff started leaking into this system in the 60s. It's just been rolling in the background and changing legislation. And, it's feminism. Women need more rights. Women this, women that. And I look around and go, where do you need more rights? What rights haven't you got compared to a guy? I can't see any. Now, if you ask me why a woman can't do my job, they probably could, but they won't have any kids. They won't have a husband. I'm lucky that I have a strong wife. I have a wife that accepts I'm not here all the time, but she wants me home. A woman doing that should have to be more masculine than me. Good luck with that. Because I remember sitting in the desert of Oman where there was 5 directors with me, and 3 of them got told to go home, otherwise they were getting divorced because their wives were going nuts in the UK because they were going to be gone for months. I spent up to 9 months a year away from my wife. I don't know, I'm going to get this negative chat from people. Oh, maybe your wife doesn't love you. Blah, blah, blah. It's not like that. It's not like that. We have a very strong commitment to each other. We are the bigger picture. My sacrifices in the UK currently was to put the house on the beach. What we have now, we're sitting overlooking the beach. That was achieved by sacrifice.